Hey guys, today we're going to be doing pages 21 and 22 in the workbook. We're going to be talking about comparing proportional relationships here. So, Emma is putting together an order for sugar, flour, and salt for her restaurant pantry. The graph below shows the cost Y to pounds X of sugar and flour. One line shows the cost of buying flour, and the other shows the cost of buying sugar. So in this one, we're just going to be looking at kind of generally some questions. So from the graph, which ingredient costs more to buy per pound? Justify your answer. So for instance, I don't know how many pounds this is, but if I go up from there, the cost is higher for sugar. So since the cost is higher for sugar for this amount of pounds, we know that sugar costs more. So which ingredient costs more? Sugar. And why? It's because the line is steeper. The cost is going up faster, which means that it is more expensive per pound. Then the cost to buy salt by the pound is less than sugar and flour. So draw a possible line that could represent the cost to buy the X pounds of salt. So we know that it costs less, so it needs to be less steep than these two. So anything underneath flour would be a good line for salt. Okay, going down to Don and Betsy making some smoothies here. So they're making some smoothies to re-energize them after a long workout. Betsy follows the recipe, which calls for 2 cups of strawberries for every 3 bananas. Don wants twice as much as Betsy, so he makes a smoothie with 4 cups of strawberries and 5 bananas. But Don says his smoothie is too tart. There's too many strawberries in his smoothie. So explain why his smoothie is too tart. So let's start with, for every 3 bananas, there needs to be 2 cups of strawberries. So for every 3 bananas, we have 2 cups of strawberries. Don says he wants to double the recipe. So he's going to take this and he's going to times these by 2 to double it. So 3 times 2 would mean he should have 6 bananas and 4 cups of strawberries. But he only put in 5 bananas. So he did not put enough bananas. So let's find and describe the unit rate for Betsy's smoothie. So she did 3 bananas for every 2 cups of strawberries. So 3 over 2, the unit rate is 1.5. This means for every cup, so for every 1 cup of strawberries, we use 1.5 bananas. For every 1 cup of strawberries, there's 1.5 bananas. So now let's jump to page 22. So find and describe the unit rate for Don's smoothie. So Don, he did it a little differently. He did 5 bananas for every 4 cups of strawberries. So his came out a little bit different. His was 1.25, which means he used 1 cup of strawberries for every 1 cup of strawberries. He used 1.25 bananas. Bananas. Going a little too quick here, I think. Bananas. So for every 1 cup of strawberries, he used 1.25 bananas. In number 6, we're going to be writing an equation that relates the number of strawberries to the number of bananas for Betsy's smoothie. So for Betsy, her recipe was y equals, and then her unit rate was 1.5, and then x. And then for Don, his is going to be y equals, and his unit rate was 1.25x. So now number 8 tells us, use your equations to make tables to graph both of these lines on the same grid. Be sure to label which line belongs to which person. So we'll do Betsy over here. We'll make a table. We'll say we have bananas over here and strawberries here. So I'm just going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if Betsy is making a smoothie, she uses 0 cups of strawberries. She's going to use 0 bananas. This is our X, and this is our Y. If she uses 1 cup of strawberries, we already decided on the other page, for every cup of strawberries, we use 1.5 bananas. So for 1 cup of strawberries, we're going to use 1.5 bananas. For 2 cups, we're going to kind of keep going up by this 1.5. So this would be 3. 3 would be 4.5, and then 4 should be 6, which is what we had, right? 4 cups of strawberries in the recipe for 6 bananas. So I'm going to jump over to the other side, and I'm going to make Don's table. So we've got our strawberries on the left, we've got our bananas on the right, X and Y. Alright, so I'm going to use the same kind of deal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, if he uses 0 cups of strawberries, he's going to be using 0 bananas. If he uses 1 cup of strawberries, we decided he used 1.25 bananas. So that's going to be our unit rate, and since this is going up by 1, we can just use that over here. So 1.25 times 2 is 2.5. Excuse me. And then up again would be 3.75. And then lastly, what he did for his smoothie was he used 4 cups of strawberries and 5 bananas. So now what we can do is we can make our graph. So our graph, our x values, our highest number is going to be up to 4. So I'm just going to go 0. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 gets us halfway. So I go 1. Well, let's just do that. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our y values, we could go up by, let's see, 0.25. So we'll make every one half. So 1.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. That's not going to work. We're going to make every line half. So this is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That way, every in-between is half. So we might have to guess a little bit on some of these, but we'll get a general idea. So I'm going to start with Betsy's line. Betsy's line starts at 0, 0, so I can put a point there. Her next point is 1, 1.5. So 1, 1.5 is right there. Then 2, 3. 3, 4.5. And then 4, 6 right there. I'm going to go ahead and draw that line. And I'm going to put Betsy's name at the end of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw Don's. So Don starts again at 0, 0, but his is 1.25. So 1, and instead of going all the way up to half, he's going to be just below that at 1.25. Then 2, 2.5. It's going to be right there. 3, 3.75. So 3, 3.5, 3.75 is right there. And then 4, 5. It's right there. Draw that line. And we'll call that Don. Okay, so now the last thing we have to do is just explain, really. So explain how the steepness of the lines relates to the unit rate. So the steepness of Don's line, let's just look at Don's line. So Don's line is less steep. So what does that mean about the unit rate? So Don's line is less steep because his unit rate is smaller. And that is that. Thanks for watching, guys.